I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review. This is for Vaughn Davis. Actually, one of two reviews he wanted, thanks to a request via PayPal. Thank you so much for that. If anyone's ever interested in sending me requests via PayPal of pretty much any type of video or review or what have you, the links are down below in the info box. Or if you're interested in joining my Patreon, which there's certain tiers, and depending on tiers you do have certain things, feel free as well. If not, no worries. Sorry. Some of the stuff I'm thinking about this film giving me a little bit of like, oops. Because the review I'm talking about today is Menace II Society, which is a very gritty and bleak movie. I had heard about the film. I might have seen it once a long time ago, but I guess I was a bit taken back with how gritty and bleak it is. Let me put it this way. Menace II Society is, I would say, the flip coin of Boys in the Hood. Like, Boys in the Hood, it's still violent. It's still dealing with the streets, which I don't know anything about. I live on a street, but not the streets. But even that movie had a bit of a kernel of hope by the end with Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character. Here, no, not really. Which, I mean, made sense, because it was still well done. It was very well directed by the Hughes brothers. The actors did their jobs well. It's fairly violent and intense in scenes. The way they utilize the camera, certain like camera shots, certain pieces of editing, especially at the very end of the film, I thought they definitely did a nice job, and I can see why this was a calling card for other films later. But granted, of the films I've seen, this is the only one I could deem that I like. From Hell, I think someone asked me a long time ago about that, and I said I didn't see it. But then when I looked more into it, I'm like, oh, that's the Johnny Depp, Jack the Ripper. Okay, I have seen From Hell. That's one I could not get into. I didn't get into, I remember not caring for the movie, including the ending. Wasn't for me. Book of Eli, the fact that Denzel's character, he's a blind guy and he doesn't help a lady who's being, I don't even know if you're supposed to know if he's blind, so I don't know if that's a spoiler, but he doesn't help a lady being raped. But then when you find out what he's carrying, which I won't spoil that, well, he's carrying this. I'm like, really? That's what he's carrying? And first I'm like, really? That's what it is? Second thing, yet he didn't help a lady from being raped? Book of Eli, I was really disappointed in. But yeah, that's just me. But here, like I said, it'd be an interesting double feature with Boys in the Hood. Because again, like Boys in the Hood is a little bit coming of age, someone getting out. Here, not quite. And it sets the tone at the beginning of the film, where our lead guy, Tyrin Turner, and then a friend of his, Larenz Tate, they're in the store, an Asian liquor store, and the Asian clerks, it's a guy and a girl, they're being assholes, and ultimately Larenz Tate's like, what do you say about my mother? And he shoots them. Get the security footage, they leave, and I'm like, okay, well, this is how this movie's going. Okay. So this is how the movie's going to go. So what happens is it starts this sort of, in a way, like downfall. Pretty much this character played by Tyrin Turner just goes deeper and deeper into this violent hole that he's putting himself in. Now granted, some people may like a violent hole, but dealing with sex, but this is a different violent hole. And I could deal with it here because I did what the director was going for. Because yes, sadly there are people who were living at that time who did get consumed by this. And it showcases the character, how when he was a kid, he sees his dad, played by Samuel Jackson, which seems like every other film I review has Sam Jackson. He's in a lot of movies. And he sees his dad kill someone. Or his cousin. His cousin gets killed carjacking. So he gets with his friends and gets revenge on them. And the violence, yeah, it's not, I won't say gore and Dawn of the Dead gore, but it's pretty violent blood squibs. And the intent. And just how, the bleakness of it definitely shows throughout the picture. And the Hughes brothers did a nice job directing it. Did a very nice job directing it with the camera work and the look of the film, certain pieces of editing, especially the end of the movie. And it was also nice to see some of the supporting cast involved with this, including Bill Duke from Predator and Commando. He plays a cop in the movie. Sally's not in the film too much. I mentioned Sam Jackson. Charles Dutton, who plays a teacher, saying stuff like, all I'm saying is just survive. Jada Pinkett, before she was Jada Pinkett Smith, she's Tyrin Turner's girlfriend. And yeah, it just shows the harshness of the life. It's sort of a slice of life. Either they're dealing with cops who are beating them up, or he sees this guy who he looks up to in prison, and that guy's played by Glenn Plummer. If you remember the movie Speed, the guy who Keanu Reeves steals his car. Are you insured? Sure. And then breaks the car door. The guy who owns the car, that's Glenn Plummer. He's been in other stuff, but that's what comes to mind. He's in this in a little bit. And it just shows the progression of more of the downfall, where this guy just get more and more pulled into this violent world, where it deals more with dealing with his friends. And even though people were saying, like the girlfriend Jada Pinkett, hey, let's move to Atlanta with her son, before some guys go, hey, come with us, and he keeps saying no until ultimately he does say yes. And just this guy just making these mistakes, and Sally, again, it's definitely a flip side to Boys in the Hood. And spoiler alert, starting now, spoiler alert, when you get to the ending, where he gets his girl pregnant because he was fucking around, even though he has a girlfriend, he was fucking with this other girl and didn't use protection, so got her pregnant. And then the cousin confronts him and he beats the shit out of the guy. Another mistake. Like, constant mistakes. And then there's retaliation and drive-by, and the lead guy gets shot up for it. And it's like, there's a progression to it. And sadly, this stuff did happen. And you see the flashbacks of all this stuff that led up to this ultimate event. In which finally you hear the lead character in his head going, the teacher, like someone asking him, not the teacher, but his grandfather, like his grandfather, I forget exactly. His grandfather, because his father was Sam Jackson. Like his mom and dad died when they were very young. So he's living with his grandparents. And the grandfather said, like, do you want to live? Like, do you want to be alive? And his final answer is yes. But sadly, it's not the case. And I guess it goes into what kind of tone do you want to watch for a movie? Like, do you want to watch a film that teeny bit more optimistic in a weird way, or much bleaker. And this one just felt more violent. I would say between the two, I would put Boys in the Hood above it, just because I'm a sucker for the glimmer of hope. Call me a sucker for it. Call me, you like the happy ending. Well, at least there is a happy ending here. But here, at least, the directors, I thought, did a solid job. Like, it's this oncoming thing that you see, and sadly, they're not getting off the ride, and it's not so much of an out of the blue thing. I mean, it's always surprising when your lead character dies, but it's like, sadly, you kind of see why this is going this way. I know at one point Tupac Shakur was going to play one of the characters, but then he had a fight with the directors. I think at one point Tupac Shakur actually assaulted one of the Hughes brothers. I think Allen Hughes. So I thought that was a bit of interesting piece of trivia. I know Siskel and Ebert loved it. They, 2 thumbs up. I think it was even in their the 10 best films of 1993 list. And Roger Ebert says, the filmmakers tell the lead character's story without making him seem either the hero or the victim. Which I can understand that. And it did feel real in a way, with how these characters talked and the environment they were in and their interactions, and they're very harsh and very colorful in their language, but it felt, it depends on the movie. What I mean by, okay, I don't like Rob Zombie movies. I talk about how he deals with the language in there, and it just seems over the top. Then you look at this movie and go, well, wait a minute, they're cursing a line here, but you're not bothered by it. Because here, it just felt more natural. It felt more fluid in a weird way. While Rob Zombie, it seems like that's just his desperate, I can't write, so let me throw fuck and fuck and fuck. But again, that's in the eye of the beholder. But Menace II Society, yeah, I thought what job it was trying to do, it did it well. By the performances, by the pacing didn't bother me. It's only an hour and 30-some minutes long. I was a bit surprised, because I don't know, for some reason I thought the movie would be like 2 hours or something. It's not. It does have a message to it about, if you don't go on the straight and narrow, if you delve into that deep hole, you don't get yourself out soon enough, you don't be consumed by it. That's kind of what happened here. And yeah, for what kind of film it's supposed to be, it does it effectively. So there's not really much I can complain about it. It's not the type of movie I go out and search for immediately, but again, if it's done well, it's done well, and I thought this was done well. Again, I would put a Boys in the Hood above it, but it's, like I said, it'd definitely be an interesting, maybe you could watch this first, then watch Boys in the Hood. It'd be an interesting double feature, I'll say that. Definitely like two different sides of the same coin. But thank you once again, Vaughn Davis. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Again, if you're interested in joining me on my Patreon or sending in a request directly via my PayPal for pretty much any kind of video, the link is down below in the info box. Thank you guys, take care, and we will see you in the next video. Later.